I just got out of the theater less than an hour ago after watching Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to give you my raw reaction. No spoilers until the end of this video. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerd Adventures Tower, and oh baby, am I excited to be talking some Spider-Man No Way Home. I want to reiterate, no spoilers until the very end of this video, but I will be doing a spoiler-filled stream tomorrow morning at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on our live streaming channel. We always have a good time over there. Highly recommend you come on by. If you're super hyped up about this movie, you want to talk about it with some people, ask some questions to the community, ask some questions to me, it's going to be a good time. Try to be there. This freaking movie is amazing, okay? It is so dang good, and I just remember a couple of different times sitting there in my seat, literally verbalizing, like actually saying the words, "This is so fun. This is so fun. I can't believe how fun this is." And I haven't had that experience in a movie in a long time. It's very rare that something just is so good and so enjoyable that it's like this weird sort of double loop thing where you're going through it and you're enjoying it, but you also like can't believe how much fun you are having, and it creates like a weird, almost out-of-body experience. I think I had an out-of-body experience watching this movie. Now, let me also say, this is not a perfect film, and there's a couple of scenes in the beginning, and I'd say almost about halfway into the movie, where they're just doing so much and there's so much going on that I feel like the pacing is a little bit uneven. And I couldn't sit here and tell you that this film is like a masterpiece. And I had this thought after the movie that, you know, the Russo brother directed things in the MCU are still, to me, the strongest total package films. Like, they're just incredible. Like, Winter Soldier is just a beginning to end masterclass in pacing, character development, storytelling. It's just so good. This movie is not that, and there are some sort of choppy moments at the beginning, but they're also throwing so many pleasing things at you even during that part of the film that you kind of let it go. And the film itself kind of takes on its own identity as just a big celebration, and it really succeeds in that regard. Like, there was like this, you know, my film school sort of side of me that was like, yo, like, you know, I wouldn't have done that, or oh man, they kind of dropped the ball there. But it really didn't matter because it's just so damn fun. All of the acting is really good, but I was personally surprised at how good MJ and Ned are in the movie, which is really integral to the plot because they're so important to the arc of Tom Holland's Peter Parker. And I was just like really blown away, especially some of the scenes with Zendaya. She's just really brought it in this film. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I had a couple tears. You know, there were a couple moments where I had a few tears. The action is incredible, and there are a lot of moments in the movie where you're using all these amazing special effects. You know, Electro looks great, Doc Ock fantastic, even Goblin so damn cool. But there's a couple of fight scenes just between Goblin and Peter that are like almost MMA level matches, like a lot of just brunt force, and they're both really powerful. They're both really strong, and it was super cool to see these two really strong characters going back and forth in a really well choreographed way, like blowing through walls, flying down through floors and ceilings and buildings. It was incredible. And the thing is, I believe that this movie, it's just so crazy to contemplate how much wild stuff is going on, and yet it really is just a story about Peter and all of the things that he is dealing with, that he's going to have to deal with. And it's just fascinating to see how, with all this stuff going on and all these different characters and all this craziness being juggled, that, yeah, man, at the end of the day, there's some of the most just vulnerable, sad, growing, hopeful, incredible moments for the Tom Holland Peter Parker Spider-Man character. There are moments here that I think just really elevate this character and make me personally just so excited for what they're gonna do with him next. They put the character in such a cool place, and that's another part of it, is like the ending itself is so dang good. Like, This is a really sort of special script, and it really is great in the last third, which is what you want, right? You want that last third to really slap. You know, it's sort of the opposite experience for me as to what I had with Eternals, where Eternals I felt was actually really strong in the beginning and in the middle, and then it just doesn't bring it home, and its third act is really sloppy. This movie's almost the opposite of it. But the third act isn't just a good third act. It is like a perfect third act for this particular character. It's almost like all of the complaints that people had about Tom Holland's Spider-Man are now sort of gone. Like it sets the character in a place that really more closely resembles all the other iterations of Spider-Man that we have seen before, and yet he's still hopeful. Like it's bizarre how good this ending plays considering all the context, because you could make the argument that like, hey man, this film is a spectacle over substance. It is like just supposed to be a pleasure house of different crazy Marvel experiences. It's just there to satisfy you like that. It's more of an experience than a narrative. But the ending is so strong narratively that it sort of pushes that thought out of the brain, where it's like, no, like this is a brilliant story that is so good for this particular character. The movie is funny, and it's self-aware funny, and there are a borderline like kind of campy, cheesy things. Remind me a lot of the flavor of like the Sam Raimi kind of stuff, but it works. Like it just kind of works in the context of what is going on, and it's really good to see that kind of stuff, because the whole situation is kind of ridiculous, and if everybody was just trying to be as serious as possible, I don't think it would have landed as well. So there's a lot of funny sort of banter back and forth between the different villains, between the villains and Peter. It's good, and that element works really well. Willem Dafoe, man. Willem Dafoe. Holy crap. He is so good, okay? He's good in sort of a dual role in the movie, right? If you've seen the Sam Raimi stuff, you kind of know what I'm talking about. He'll have moments of clarity, and then the Goblin sort of takes over. He's so vulnerable and helpless when he's just Norman, and he's so confused, and I really and truly feel for the character. But then when he flips it and goes Goblin, holy crap, it is terrifying. He is a total and complete psychopath, and he is a big part of why the arc for Peter actually works so well. The only other non-spoiler thing that I'll say, and I guess this is kind of light spoilers, it's not any of the big things, but it is just that I strongly feel that this movie was not designed as an end for this character. They wrote this thing in a way to put the character in a good spot to see further things with him, and it's just brilliant. I think a lot of the questions that we had about where Peter Parker's place was going to be in this thing is now resolved. It's also just so fascinating how this solves so many different problems with not only the character but the Sony relationship, right? Like this technically puts Peter in a spot where like without giving anything away, it solves like contractual problems, it solves story problems. It's really mind-blowing how good the ending is. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk spoilers just briefly for a couple of minutes here. Again, I'm going to go into full thoughts in the stream tomorrow and in videos. If you have not seen the movie, if you want to avoid spoilers, get on out of here. I'm giving you just a little bit of time. Get on out of here. Go. Okay, holy crap. Can we talk about Tobey and Andrew? This was so fun. It's the sort of thing I was talking about earlier in the video where it's just so fun and they work so well together. I was blown away at how the identity of these characters comes through so strongly. Like it's very interesting how much they feel exactly like the characters that came before. I mean, Andrew, so good, so vulnerable, so cool, and trying to be fun and, you know, like doing his own thing. Tobey, older, you know, the older statesman, the mentor, you know, he's literally a mentor to sort of like all of them. He has a couple of bonding moments with Andrew, which I felt were really interesting. It's very fun to see that character. He evokes that Peter that we saw before so well. I'm just so happy that these guys came in and knocked it out of the park the way that they did. And you might say, well, of course they're going to. Guys, you'd never know with this sort of thing. I mean, you know, you go in and you just see how they are. And I'm sure that the people that saw them acting together was just like, wow, this is mind-blowing. I recall sort of walking out of the theater and being like, it is crazy they don't have them in any of the marketing, because it's not just that they are in there. they are so good in this movie. I absolutely love the stuff where they're trying to learn to work together. Fascinating, man. Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3. They have a lot of fun with that whole idea. And then when they're actually like using their Peter Tingle together and whipping around together, it is brilliant. And I think just a taste of what you could get in the future with more live action Spider-Verse content. It's just crazy. Like, Andrew's so good. He's so emotional, right? That moment where he catches MJ and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Are you okay?" And he looks so broken up. It's wild. You know, he is the emotional one, and then he says that he loves those guys, and they're all like, "Cool, yeah, good, thanks," you know what I mean, which is kind of funny. They're a little bit more closed off. Toby just brings that just pure hopeful sensibility to the thing, you know, just like you would imagine. It's just so damn fun. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I was just saying to myself, like, under my breath, like, this is so fun. I can't wait to see the movie again. And I would say this is definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie now. You know, before this, Into the Spider-Verse was my favorite movie, and of course that film is absolutely incredible and captures all these very important aspects of the Spider-Man character. But guys, this was knocking it out of the park, and I think Feige and Sony have now set the stage for what this can be like and feel like when you're bringing in characters from old franchises. We know that The Flash is trying to do this now, you know, with Michael Keaton Batman and Ben Affleck Batman, and bringing that all together. I just, you know, my hat's off to the writers. Such attention to detail, so juicy what they wrote. I can't imagine the amount of brain power and just energy that went into that, and it totally works. It plays so well on screen, and they've now set the stage for that. It is literally like these dudes were ripped out of their universes and, you know, just come into this film. And I'm very hopeful, and I believe that this is actually not the last time we will see these two together. And I'm going to talk about this in more videos in the future. But at the end there, Toby was originally supposed to die. That's the big rumor out there, is that in that end sequence where he stops Tom from killing Goblin, Toby was supposed to die. They actually went back and reshot that because Feige wants both of those dudes back for Secret Wars because they worked so well together. And I have a lot to say about that in the future, but that's for speculation and just kind of getting hyped up in the future. I'm really grateful, you know what I mean, as a Spider-Man fan. This is out of control goodness, and I cannot wait to watch this movie again and again and again. I will say I don't think it's my favorite comic book movie of all time, you know what I mean? It's high up there on the list, and maybe after I see it a couple more times it will become that, but it's definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie. There's just something about having grown up watching, you know, Toby, and then watching the Andrew films, and I actually like the Andrew movies, and then loving the Tom Holland version and watching this all come together in a masterful stroke. Absolute brilliant stuff. My hat's off to Feige, Amy Pascal, everybody over there. Brilliant stuff. So there you have it, guys. My sort of first thoughts, reaction about Spider-Man No Way Home. Please let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Come on by the stream tomorrow. I think it's going to be a fantastic time. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel to see more of our content. Pop up in your recommended feed. Check us out on TikTok and check out the podcast on Spotify. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.